Hello everyone, my name is Kay James and welcome to the second episode of my series of Adobe Illustrator tutorials for beginners. This episode is going to be focused on shape vectors, grouping the vectors, and compounding. Now the tool you use to create shapes is the Shapes tool in the left menu. If you click on hold on it, this will bring up a lot more options for shapes, but we will get to that later. First, let's just draw a simple rectangle. Like we learned in the last episode, using the selection tool, which we can access by either going to the toolbar or pressing V, we can resize and rotate this shape, like so. Now, we can also hold shift while doing these things to make them more exact. For example, with the rotate, we can put it into 45-degree increments, or we can make this more straight and not as easy to move around. We can also hold, there is one more tool that is very useful, and that is that you can duplicate the shape. Having the selection tool selected, hold down Alt and then click and drag and drop, and you will have an exact duplicate of the same shape. Now, we are going to quickly revisit something from the previous video, and that is anchor points. Now say that you have to draw a square, but it doesn't give you as many anchor points as you want, or one too many. You can delete and add points so that you can change the way the shape looks. You can do this by using a new tool, the pen tool. This can be found by going to the toolbar on the left, a few buttons underneath the selection tool, right here. If you click and hold on this, you will see two more pens, one with a plus and one with a minus. The plus will allow you to add our anchor points, and the minus will delete them. This is great for making new shapes and changing them exactly how you want to. For example, I can add a new anchor point here, then using the direct selection tool by pressing A, move it around to change something. Now say I don't want this corner anchor point, I can click and hold on it, delete, and then delete it right there. And then you'll see we have a completely new shape. You can also use the free transform tool to move it other ways as well. You can find this about halfway down the toolbar right here. You can also press E to activate it. If I click on it and select one of these options for different moves, you'll see that it's very easy to just stretch around the shape and move it in different ways. Now, there are more shapes than just the rectangle or square. You also have the rounded rectangle, which we can look in here, rounded rectangle, the ellipse tool, polygon, and star. The ellipse tool is rather basic and is used to make simple circles. The more complex tools are the star and the polygon. The star can be placed the same way any of the other shapes are placed, just by dragging and dropping. But what's different about this is that by using the arrow keys on your keyboard, you can add points and take away points. You'll see that if I put it back to the regular star, just by clicking twice, I can add 2 more points to it. Or by putting the arrow key down, I can take away those points again. Now, I can also hold Control while creating this shape, and see that I can bend the lines in so that the points are coming from different places. The next tool we're going to look at is the Polygon tool, which if we click and drag on here again and go down to Polygon, we can see. This is similar to the Star tool in the sense that when you click and drag, you can use the arrow keys to add and remove points. Now, if you want to make any one of your shapes more specific, say for example a rectangle, rather than clicking and dragging and getting what I roughly have, I will just click once and you'll see that a box appears where I can put in exact point details of what I want. Say for example I wanted to use the star tool, I would come over here, click on star, and then rather than creating one, I would click, and then it gives me options for the 2 radius and the points and how many points the star will have. Now that we have covered all the shape basics, I'm going to move on to compounding and creating a composition of vectors. If you see, some shapes are in front of others because of the way it places when you create shapes. You may not want this and instead want a different order. You can add this by going to your Layers panel. Now, your Layers panel will probably be in here if you have Essential selected. Otherwise, you can go up to Window and go down to Layers. Now, if we look at the layers, you will see that inside, if we click the arrow key to expand it, it'll show us all of the different shapes. And if we just click and drag and remove the shapes, you will see, for example, say that we wanted this circle to in fact go behind this rectangle here. All we would need to do is take the circle and place it in behind the rectangle, and you see that the rectangle is now in front. If you don't want to use the Layers panel to arrange things, you can also right-click and go down to Arrange, then clicking Send to Back or bring to front, or bring forward a certain layer. Now, say you are very happy with the way all your shapes are looking, and you want to keep it just like this and make it a composition. Just make all these shapes group together and move as one vector. All you need to do is click and drag on top of all of it, and you'll see that everything gets selected. Right click, and then going down to group. And you'll see that if I click off and click on again, that each thing is all now connected, and I can easily move it around, resize them all as one composition, rotate, and everything like that. Now, even though it is grouped, I don't need to worry if I want to ungroup it again. All I need to do is highlight, right click, and then go down to ungroup, and then each shape is individual again. But say I want to keep this as part of the composition but still want to work on one object. All I need to do is group everything again, and then double click on one of the individual shapes, and it will allow me to edit it in ways while it's still inside the group. All I need to do then is click off, and you will see that it's still part of the whole composition. Now, this tool is only used for grouping shapes. Now, what if you want to merge the vectors into one actual shape? Now, for this, you are going to need the Pathfinder panel, which yet again should be there if you're using Essentials. But if you can't find it, you can always go up to Window and click on Pathfinder. So what Pathfinder can do are many different things. One of the tools is Unite, which basically creates a compound shape out of two or more different vectors. So say I want to use my circle and my rectangle, but I want this middle section to be cut out and it to be all one shape. All I need to do is select one, hit Shift, select the other, and click Unite, and it'll cut out this middle piece and will make it a single shape that I can use. Now, the next tool we can look at is the minus front, which is used to cut shapes out of other shapes. Say I have this little shape here, and I want to cut out a rectangle out of it. All I need to do is take it, select the other one, and then press that button. And what it'll do is both combine them and cut out this empty hollow area in the middle here. Now I can always reshape this by just clicking on it, using the direct selection tool, clicking on a point, and then making the hole bigger, smaller, change the size of it, etc. The next tool we're going to look at is the intersect. What this basically is that if you have two different shapes and you want to cut out a certain shape that is made out of the intersecting area, so for example here, all I need to do is click on both, click on intersect, and it'll cut out that small triangle that was once hidden. This is a great tool if you're trying to make shapes using others. Now the final shape would be the same, but instead of that I'm doing exclude, and what it'll do is it'll cut out any certain area that is blocking another shape's outline. Now we can use this panel to connect shapes, but we can also use the shape builder tool, which is found in the left tool panel just below the free transform tool. Now for example, say that I wanted to do something between this selection of shapes. All I need to do is select the free transform tool. First I need to select everything in this area, then click on the shape builder tool. Then what happens is, as you see, as I hover over the pieces, they make this gradient mesh kind of look. What happens is if I click there, it will cut out that area, same as if I do this. But if I want to drag and connect shapes, all I need to do is click, drag through the area and connect, and you will see that I made it hollow. The same thing can happen as if I drag through here and drag through there, and you'll see that I made that all into one shape. I personally love the shape builder tool because of how simple it is, and it is much easier than using all the buttons and lining things up. That sums up this episode. Remember, if you can't remember any of the hotkeys, feel free to look in the description for them. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.